Dawntrail aimed to significantly reduce the level of handholding the game offered in order to bring fresh challenges that would push players out of their comfort zones a little. Like ordering a fillet of fish at McDonald's or kidnapping your hot shooter. How's it going, Warriors Alike? I'm Myth, the loud and aspiring comedian with a potty mouth, crippling depression and about 12 Vieira in my basement, and we are back to tackle a trending topic with more life in it than Joe Biden right now. That's right, you've seen takes from Renan, Mr. Happy, Zenosis, McPussler 12 on Reddit. That's a weird one to include in this script, Jerry. All, of course, preparing you for my 20-minute word salad, condensed into a sub 10-minute video for your viewing pleasure. Now, if you've been living under a rock or have one of those lives my family keeps telling me to get, like it's somehow a thing a 30-year-old single veteran can do in 2024, there's been quite a buzz about the casual content being too difficult. But first, a brief disclaimer. I want to mention that despite what others have done, in this video, I won't be using any specific names, comments, or targeting individual players. While I like to keep things lighthearted and joke around sometimes, tiptoeing the border between funny and offensive, who am I kidding, I play hooky cookie on that shit, it's important to me that no one feels singled or bullied. It's all fun and games until someone feels like they're the target. Then it's something very different, and I'm grossly against that. I'll save my single target offense for my first legit YouTube beat, and oh boy, I'll make sure that cunt disappears faster than a Clinton campaign whistleblower. Now, back to the video. Dawntrail has brought us a wealth of new content, and much to the delight of many, Yoshi P's promise of a slightly more stressful experience with less handholding came to life in a beautiful way. Challenging dungeons, trials that are a suitable step up from Endwalker, and the first raid tier that dropped last Tuesday, all a combination of new and original mechanics, alongside new non-standard telegraphs. None of the standard story and casual content dropped with any degree of difficulty that goes beyond see mechanic, fail mechanic, understand mechanic, see mechanic again, avoid mechanic. And for the most part, you can apply this to the extreme trials and beyond. And for the majority, this holds true. It seems to be the general consensus that Dawntrail is more challenging in a good way, which falls neatly in line with Yoshi P's design direction for this expansion. Expert dungeons, I feel, are currently the best example of this. They aren't really dungeons you can walk through half asleep, at least not in the way you could in Endwalker. I just know I'm going to get some basement goblin in the comments overstating their mute point saying they're the easiest they've ever been. You'll touch your boob eventually, Chief. Go watch another Dr. Disrespect the Age of Consent video. Still, some players have been quick to voice their frustrations. But honestly, type Dawntrail difficulty into your Reddit search bar. A lobotomy will deal less damage than 15 minutes of that light reading. First, we need to understand what casual content means in the context of Final Fantasy XIV. Casual content is designed to be accessible and enjoyable for players who may not have the time, desire, or skill to commit to high-end content. This includes players who log in for a few hours after work, those who enjoy the social aspects of the game, or female Hrothgar players who log in exclusively to live out the persona. However, it's important to note that casual doesn't mean effortless. Casual content in Final Fantasy XIV is crafted to provide a balanced experience, like blind dating or taking an 80mm mortar to a knife fight. It's meant to be approachable enough for the average player, yet still deliver a sense of accomplishment and progression. The developers have done a great job ensuring that while the entry barrier is low, there are still enough mechanics and challenges to keep things interesting. This means that casual content should still provide a level of challenge to keep the gameplay engaging. Challenge is an essential part of any game. It keeps things interesting and rewarding. If everything were a walk in a park, we'd all get bored pretty quickly. I mean, doing roulettes in Endwalker should have came with a do not operate heavy Wi-Fi machinery whilst playing this game sign. Without challenges, there's no sense of achievement or growth, and the game will quickly lose its appeal. Dawntrail's casual content isn't supposed to be a mindless grind. It's meant to test you just a little bit, like when one of your many brats doesn't do what she's told and you've got to open up the cupboard of fun to show you have cruel and kind ways of dealing with it. When you overcome a difficult dungeon or a complex trial, the satisfaction you get isn't just from the rewards or experience points, it's from knowing that you improved, that you worked with your team, and that you overcame something that initially seemed daunting. This sense of accomplishment is a core part of what makes Final Fantasy XIV such a compelling and enduring game. What else is compelling and enduring? My level of pettiness when this fucking melt told me I'd languish at 4-digit subscribers after getting muted for throwing slurs at my commenters, and of course making no actual argument, because let's be real, his IQ, if converted to electricity, could maybe power a speaking spell for a few seconds. So I'm making that our new goal as a community. I want to get to 5-digit subscribers so that I can say that the Final Fantasy XIV community just collectively fucked that troll. So smash that like button and get low on that subscribe button, because pettiness is godliness. And hey, why not join the channel and fund this veteran's descent into madness? I'll have an influencer boxing showdown with Pint at 1 mil. Lala beef!
A few moments later.
In Dawntrail, most content follows this philosophy. The new dungeons like Tender Valley and Strayborough Deadwalk, the new raid series, and of course the new extreme trials are designed to challenge players in various ways. Whether it's learning new mechanics, adapting to unexpected twists, or coordinating with your team, these challenges keep the game fresh and exciting. They require players to engage, think strategically, and collaborate, which are all fundamental aspects of what makes an MMO fun and rewarding. Strayborough Deadwalk, for example, finally overtook the vault as my favourite ever Final Fantasy XIV dungeon. The theme is fucking amazing. The difficulty makes it feel hella rewarding to get through, and my only real criticism is that the first and third boss should fucking swap locations in the dungeon, because fuck me, I've had less trouble in Savage than that first fight. especially as a caster. These dungeons aren't designed to be unfairly difficult though. They're meant to challenge your understanding of game mechanics and teamwork, and by extension improve your gameplay. My thoughts on extremes follow the same beat for the most part. Now, full disclosure, I haven't cleared EX2 yet. Haven't even attempted it in fact, as prior to PF I wanted to run all my practice runs with the static. For those that don't know, I use this expansion to start a community static to prove content can be cleared by anyone with patience and practice. It had none of the usual prerequisites to joining, like passes, previous experience, add-on lists, etc. We officially started on EX1 this weekend, with more than half of the static having no significant raid experience, and 2 that had never even tried the more difficult content due to the PF horror stories of elitism and gatekeeping. Our best pull forced a 5% in rage. We cleaned up deaths mid-fight and that's a kill. Oh, trust me, I'm aware there's going to be some haters laughing at that, but I don't care. The inexperienced players we took into extreme don't need 1,000 add-ons and 18 hours a day playtime to do what they just did, and the more time they spend, the better they're going to get. Every elitist seems to forget they were new once. This disdain and objective requirement to bully or not give him a chance screams incel of light, but I digress. I then went and cleared in PF because I'm an impatient pictor that wanted my weapon. With all that being said, I never really felt like EX1 was too much. The frost phase is a total bitch to me, but honestly it's probably fine. Memory mechanics are just my kryptonite, and I spend most of that phase collecting more damage downs than a protest against pregnancy screen. These trials are designed to push you out of your comfort zone and test your ability to adapt to new mechanics. They're challenging but not impossible, and they offer a great sense of accomplishment when you conquer them, which isn't really something we can say for a lot of Endwalker's content. Your played time should loosely reflect your skill level to some degree. If that's not happening, it's either the fault of the game for lack of sufficient incentive to improve, or yourself for lack of motivation to do so. It's not hard to get better at this game, so while it might be tempting to cry all casual content should be easy and straightforward, remember that the challenge is part of the fun. It's what makes your achievements feel meaningful and your progression feel real. Embrace the challenges Dawntrail presents, and you'll find that the content you're crying about actually offers a rich and fulfilling gaming experience. As a long-time player of Final Fantasy XIV, I've seen the evolution of the game's content and difficulty levels. Dawntrail aimed to significantly reduce the level of hand-holding the game offered in order to bring fresh challenges that would push players out of their comfort zones a little. Like ordering a filet of fish at McDonald's, or kidnapping your hot tutor. This is a good thing. Over the years, the developers have a seemingly impossible job balancing content to cater to both casual and hardcore players, with expansions tending to go too far one way or the other. However, with this being said, complaints about difficulty oftentimes just stem from a reluctance to adapt to new mechanics, or a lack of understanding of the game's evolving complexity. I myself have already had to deal with this mother me mentality in Vanguard, when a healer on his first run through struggled twice on the second fight, resulting in wipes, and then cried for 15 minutes before having to be kicked because he wouldn't just get on with it. But here's the thing he missed: the post-nut clarity of the eventual kill. Every wall built directly in your face feels good to knock down. That's a universal truth, and you don't want to starve yourself of that. You think you do because you're trying to speedrun your roulettes and don't want to see people dying and slowing you down, but the alternative is so much worse. When I first started playing Final Fantasy XIV, I struggled with some of the dungeons and raids, and frankly, the jarring differences between this game and my old game WoW at the time. But with practice, learning from mistakes, and leveraging community resources, I improved. This journey of growth is something every player can experience, and the game should absolutely promote. Wrapping players in cotton wool and handing them everything for the price of their sub is not a good design direction to take. If you want the payoff without the work, go sub to someone's OnlyFans. One of the most important aspects of Final Fantasy XIV is its community though. The support, camaraderie, and collective knowledge shared by players are invaluable. If you're finding content difficult, don't hesitate to ask for help. There are always players willing to share tips, strategies, and encouragement. Now yes, the opposite exists as well, but ignore them. You can literally deny their existence now with the new handy dandy exile option that I may or may not have been using to filter out the people who leave mount runs early after they get the mount. What? I'm a vindictive bitch, don't judge me. Remember, games are meant to be enjoyed. Embrace the challenge, learn from them, and let them make you a better player. Instead of seeing difficult content as an insurmountable barrier, view it as an opportunity to grow and achieve something great. The sense of accomplishment you get from overcoming a tough dungeon or mastering a tricky mechanic is unparalleled. It's these moments that make Final Fantasy XIV such a beloved game. So next time you feel like complaining about Dawntrail's content being too difficult, remember this video, embrace the challenge, get better at the game, and enjoy the rewarding feeling of your hard-earned victories. Anyways, that's enough waffling from me. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, and of course smash that subscribe button so we can pound a troll into a pile of submissive moans and baby oil. And of course click this, because my comment is 10 out of 10 bingeable would watch again according to my biggest fan and critic. Thanks, Mum.